amazing, best day of the calendar year, Tu B'Av. Tu B'Av, as the Gemara says. Very, very deep things about this. So, it says that there weren't greater days for the nation of Israel like the 15th of Av and Yom Kippur. That's what it says in the Gemara, that there were never better days than the 15th of Av, which is tonight and tomorrow, and the day of Yom Kippur, which we know is one of the holiest days of the year. So how could it be? And how is it that this day comes before Yom Kippur? We know that, right? The rabbis are very precise with all of their words, and they said there were no better days for Israel than the 15th of Av and Yom Kippur. So the 15th of Av has this importance. And what's going on? We see very few things said about Tu B'Av from the Arizal. And he says that it's a very great day, that is very hidden, and it's rooted in the midah of Yesod, the foundations. Meaning there is a holiday of the sphere of Yesod, and that special light of Yesod and the ability of Yesod, which we'll get into a little bit, is what comes down. And he says that, the Arizal says also, that Tu B'Av and Tu B'Shvat coincide. The 15th of Av and the 15th of Shvat, two holidays. One is the New Year's of the trees, right? And one is, to this day now, they have more of love and connection. They have shiduchim of connections, of deep love connections. So what is the connection? That Tu B'Av is the pnimiyut, is the internal aspect of the Yesod, and Tu B'Shvat is the chitzoniyut, is the external revelation in actuality. So this idea of Yesod is a very deep idea. Just to break it down, what is Yesod? Yesod is the ability to receive from the five sfirot that come before it, the five lights of Hashem that come before it, but to take them and to make them into one, and to bring them over to the Malchut, to the expression in this world, right? So it takes chesed, loving kindness, and it takes the limitations of gevura, and it takes the mercy, and it takes the perseverance, and it takes the truth, and it brings it all together. Yesod is the vehicle to become, let's say, the recipe, right? It takes a whole bunch of different things put together, and it brings it down so that you can receive it, right? So that you can receive it exactly who you are. That it can come out in revelation in your world exactly for you, that the light is there for you. And there's a lot of different things that go on this day, but it's not on Tu B'Av that the girls of Jerusalem, it says, Benot Yerushalayim yotzot v'cholot u'v'kramim, the girls of Jerusalem would go out singing and dancing in circles in the vineyards. U'mayu amorot, what would they say? Bachur sana einecha, u're'eh ma ata borer lecha. Boy, lift your eyes up and see what you pick. What are you choosing for yourself? Al titen einecha benoi, don't put your eyes on the noi, don't put your eyes on the beautiful things, on the adornments. Ten einecha b'mishpacha, put your eyes on the family. Right? That's from Mishlei. Sheker achen ve'evel hayofi, isha yirat Hashem hitit alal. We say this in Eshet Chayil, right? Everything is vanity. It's nonsense. The false beauty, the false charm. A woman that has the fear of God, she's who's going to be praised, right? So don't just look about the beauty. That's just vanity. That's nonsense. Look deeper. The woman that's connected to Hashem. Find the woman that's connected to Hashem. Give her from the fruit of her handiwork, and they'll sing her praises from her work. So too they say, go out and see the daughters of Zion, go out and see the king Shlomo with the crown that his mother has made for him on his wedding day, on the day of the happiness of his heart. Right? We know that Shlomo HaMelech Shalom Shalom. It's Hashem Yitbarach, so to say. Right? And Hashem calls us like a mother. And also go see, look at the Malchut, look at the crown, look at the Malchut, look at the actuality being brought out. And this day of a wedding, the day of a simcha, of a wedding, of a unification, of a shidduch, may this come with the happiness of the building of the Beit HaMikdash speedily in our days, amen. This is also the day, Rabbi Yehuda Amar, Rabbi Shmuel, Yom Shutro Shvatim Lavo Ze B'Ze. This is the day that the Shvatim, that the tribes were allowed to marry one another. For a certain part of history, it was that the tribes didn't marry one another. and then it came in Tu B'Av, and they allowed the tribes to start to intermarry between them. Jews, obviously. This is the thing that they commanded to the daughters of Tzlofchad. This shouldn't be acted only in this generation, that they allowed the daughters of Tzlofchad to marry men so that they would have some kind of existence, right? But that was a one-time exception. After that, it was not permitted until it came to B'Av, and they allowed it again. Amar Rabbi Yosef, Amar Rab Nachman, Yom Shutar Shevet Binyamin Levo Bekahal. There was a time that the tribe of Benjamin was cut off after a civil war, and they were excommunicated, so to say, the whole entire tribe. And this also, Tu B'Av, was the day that the tribe of Benjamin was accepted back.
Oh.
Right? Amar Rava Bar Chana, Amar Yochanan. Another thing, Yom Shekalu Bo Metei Midbar, is the day that all of the dead of the generation of the desert, when they received, right, we just went through the 9th of Av, Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av was the day that the spies came back with a negative report of what they saw in the land of Israel. The people cried. Hashem said, you cried for nothing, I'll give you a reason to cry for the rest of the time. For the next 40 years in the desert, they walked around for 40 years because of that. They could have made it in 11 days, right? But 40 years of walking around because of that. And what happened was that every single year on Tisha B'Av, the Jewish nation, the people would go out and dig their graves. Everyone would lie down in a grave. And for years and years and years, they would die and die and die and die and die and die. It came the day of Tu B'Av one time, and they stopped. They realized that that's it. For a few days, people haven't been dying. It was a decree that that's it. It's over. Ula Amar. Ula says, Yom Shipitel Hoshea ben Ela פרוסדיות שהושיב ירבעם בן נבט על דרכים שלא יעלו ישראל לרגל ואמר לעזר שירצו יעלו. Another thing that happened on this day of Tu B'Av is that Yerovam ben Navat, which was a wicked king of the tribe of Israel, of the northern tribes, the 10 tribes in the north, the kingdom of Israel, he placed guards and idol worship on the way to Jerusalem so that the people of Israel would not come to the temple, to the Beit HaMikdash, 3 times a year on the holidays of Shavuot, Sukkot, and Pesach. So for years, the people of Israel couldn't come to Yehuda, to the land, to the kingdom of Yehuda, where the temple was, to come to celebrate in the holidays of Hashem, because their king had placed on the way guards and avodah zarah. He put in golden calves, and it was a very disgusting thing. On Tu B'Av was the day that was all nullified. Again, another form of connection, right? Rav Matnana Amar Yom Shenatnu Harugei Beitar Likvura. Also, on Tisha B'Av was the day that Beitar was destroyed and slaughtered, massacred, a complete entire Holocaust in the city of Beitar. Years later, all the bodies hadn't rotten, they didn't smell, they were stacked up, making walls around Roman vineyards. And on Tu B'Av was the day that they were allowed to be buried. And we have from that the bracha of Atov V'Ameitiv, right? That when we say he's good and he does good, and he was good that the bodies didn't rot, and he's good that he allowed us to bury them. Rabba v'Rav Yosef de Amri Tarvayu. Another source for what is Tu B'Av. Yom shepasku milichot atzim le'maracha. It's the day that they stopped chopping trees for the maracha, for the fires of the temple. It's not such a good thing, right? Mikan ve'elach de mosif Yosif, de lo mosif Yosif, v'mas Yosif, amar Yosef, tivrei ema. V'rot Yisrael yotzot v'cholot b'kamim. The girls go out into the vineyards in circles. Tana mishen lo isha nifne lesham. Whoever doesn't have a woman, like in the times of the Talmud, the woman would go out, the single woman would go out, right, to the vineyards, and all of the single men would tell them, whoever go out, and they would say, Miyuchasot shebehen ayu amrot bachur sa'enecha, right? The ones that had yichus, the ones that had lineage, that had a family of importance, they would say, don't look at the beauty, look at the family. Tanu Rabbanan yefifiyot shebehen ma'u ayu amrot nu enechem liyofi she'en ha'isha ela liyofi. The beautiful ones, the beautiful girls, what would they say? Take me for my beauty. What is a woman for? It's for her beauty. Take a trophy wife. It's all about the beauty. We're going to get deeper, obviously, but מיוחסות שבהן מה היו אמרות תנו עיניך למשפחה לפי שאין האישה אלא לבנים. The women with lineage, with families, would say, right? We have lineage. What did you take a woman for? To raise children. We have a great family of tzaddikim, family of holy people, family of businessmen, whatever it might be. Look at the family. Mucharot shebehen, the ugly ones, the ugly women, what would they say? Obviously, no women in Israel are ugly. It can be, but what would they say? Omrot k'chu mikchem leshem shamayim uvilvad sheta'atrunu b'zerubim. Do it for the sake of Hashem. Get married because there's a mitzvah to get married. Do it for the right reason. And then you're going to be crowned and you're going to be surrounded with gold. Amar ula bira, Amar Rabbi Elazar, Atid HaKadosh Baruch Hu la'asot machol tzadikim. The Rabbi Ula says, in the future, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem is going to make a circle for the tzadikim. V'yoshev b'neim Gan Eden, Hashem is going to sit amongst them in Gan Eden. V'kol echad v'echad mareh be'etzba'o, everyone's going to point out with their finger, like it says, V'mar b'yom hahu hine Eloheinu, ze kivinu lo v'yoshienu, ze Hashem kivinu lo nagila v'nismecha b'yoshuoto. It says in Isaiah 25:9, on that day, they're going to come and they say, Ine Eloheinu zeh, this is our God. We hoped for Him. We want His salvation. This is Hashem this is Hashem that we were hoping for. We're going to be rejoicing and very happy with His salvation. All of that is the introduction to what is Tu B'Av historically. Now we're going to go deeper inside and understand what does it have to do with us and how do we apply it and what can we understand in this al-pi Kabbalah, al-pi Chassidut, and the deeper teachings of our rabbis of the past generations. So we said it's rooted in Yesod. Yesod is the ability to connect things, okay? To connect the revelation with the light that came before it. To take things that are all separate, to unify them together and to make them one so that they can be brought out into actuality in this world. Like we have the foundations in a building, right? The foundations lock everything down. They allow everything to come together. The stronger your foundations are, the higher your building can go. So too, Yesod, the word Yesod means the foundation. So it takes everything that's above it, the whole entire building that's above it is the main light, and it brings it down to the earth so that it can be brought out. So what is the idea when it has the Yesod, the foundation of everything, of taking all of these separate lights and all these separate revelations and making it one in order to apply it? The idea is connecting to Hashem. The idea is connecting to Hashem in everything, and with pleasure, with deep, immense pleasure. I mean, when I go to eat, I understand that I'm eating and I'm engaging with the spark of Hashem that's inside the food. When I go to pray, I know that I'm coming in order to connect to Hashem. When I go to do anything, to learn Torah, I'm doing it in a way of connection to Hashem. Yesod is always connection. It's a continuation of Tiferet, which is Dveikut, but Dveikut is clinging, is attachment on such a level that it's a kind of more of a permanence, more of a deeper connection. Here we're talking about, okay, maybe it's a lower level, but I bring it back to Hashem. I take everything that I experience and I bring it and make it one. I take it back to Hashem. The negative side of obviously this includes with pleasure, right? I'm doing this with immense pleasure. I'm not doing this in a dry way. I take pleasure that everything that I can find Hashem at the root of everything. So also on the other side of that, when I don't understand Yesod properly, then it makes room. The fallen version of it is jealousy and competition, right? Or being attached to negative things, having this kind of pull towards something that I shouldn't be doing. This is the negative side of Yesod, because you go and move away from understanding that everything is one and everything is the light of Hashem, to thinking that the wine has pleasure itself. The Torah itself and getting wise is something separate from the light of Hashem. Anything that can cause separation, that's already the opposite of. So too, if you look at your friend and you say, oh, he has that thing and I want that thing, and you're jealous of him, so then you're forgetting that everything is attached to Hashem and everything's the light of Hashem, and what I have is what I need. And what I need is what I have. And Hashem will never leave me in a situation where I don't have exactly what I need in that moment. And what my friend has is what he needs. right? The more I'm attached to the idea that everything is connected to Hashem, the more I can lead a healthier life of not looking at it with competition and with jealousy and with some kind of pull to negative things as well. Because I understand that the things I engage with in this world, whether they're permissible or not, right, are, only if they're permissible, but when they are permissible and I'm allowed to engage with them, how do I do it? Do I do it with the right mindset, or do I do it for some kind of lowly, physical, mundane mindset, right? So these are a little bit of the ideas of Yesod, and this also connects to it the Brit. The place that Yesod is revealed on our body is in our reproductive organs, right? And this is another idea on a Kabbalah that we're going to get into this, but the day of Tu B'Av is 40 days from the 25th of Elul. 25th of Elul is 6 days before Rosh Hashanah, which is the creation of man, which is the 6th day of creation, meaning that the 25th of Elul is the day of creation, the first day of creation. Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim v'et haaretz. Right? That first day of creation is 40 days from now. We are 45 days from Rosh Hashanah. Right? So 40 days, the rabbis teach, is that already, we're going to get into this deeper, but just to mention it now shortly, is the day of the original foundation, the root of what is going to be revealed 40 days from now. Right? So part of this, of reproduction, of bringing new, of making a root, of planting the seed of what will be developed, the foundations that took all of the ingredients beforehand in order to create something, that day is now. And that has to do with our reproduction organs, and that has to do in our body, with our brit, us men. And we have to know that we have to be loyal. The height of pleasure for man, right? I'm talking men right now, not mankind, but men. The height of pleasure for the average man across the world, you can pretty much say as a blanket statement, is sexuality, right? Is the brit, is this idea. That is, for the most men in the world, that is the height. Obviously you have men that go after money or after honor or whatever it might be, but for the majority of men, that's how it is. And this is where we have the biggest test. How are we doing in the aspect of Yesod, in our connection to Hashem and Avodat Hashem? The things that are permissible and the things that sanctify me. Meaning, there's a way to do everything, but I have to be loyal. And the brit, the covenant means there's two sides of the party. And it's that I have a covenant with Hashem. So I have things that I have to do, and Hashem has things that He has to do. The more I guard my brit, the more I guard myself in the things that are permissible to me, and I sanctify myself in all aspects of my life, the more I'm showing that I care about God and I care about my connection, and I'm guarding my brit. I'm guarding the covenant that I have with God to be loyal to Him in all of my actions, all of my speech, and all of my thoughts. The more I'm able to do that, I'm proving how loyal I am at the foundation, at the yesod, and when it comes to the pleasures in this world. Am I only taking pleasure from the true source of everything, which is God, the light behind everything that I experience, any revelation? The light behind it is the light of Yesod, the light of the Ein Sof. Am I conscious that the light of Hashem is what I'm taking pleasure in and what I'm engaging with and what I'm seeking out in my life? Or do I give it on the revelation side, on the creation side, on the physical thing that's in front of me? Right? And just to bring it down a little bit more, it's known in the Brit Milah, we said this before, there's 3 stages of the Brit Milah, of a circumcision. There is the part of removing the foreskin. You remove the foreskin completely, throw it away. That's the aspect of the things that are not permissible to you. You have to get completely rid of them. And then you have the aspect of the things that you are allowed to engage with, but you have to sanctify yourself with them, meaning eating, sexuality, only with when you're married, with your wife, when it is permissible to be with your wife, in a holy mindset, with the right thoughts, right? So too with eating, you don't just eat and eat and eat and eat. You're conscious of your eating, and you do it in order to connect and in order to find the spark of Hashem and to go deeper in your avodat Hashem. When you come to pray, right? Everything in your life you take in the proper proportion, and you don't do it for the physical aspect, rather for the meaning of the sanctity behind it. And then the last aspect of the Brit Milah, after you split the membrane, is that you have the revelation of the crown, you have the revelation of God in every single step of your life. Right? That is God's side of the covenant, that He reveals Himself constantly to you. Also rooted in all of this is the peace, right? Like we know, right? When you know that every single soul is rooted in God, then you have peace between people. Because I can't get angry at you for doing something because you didn't do anything. You're another revelation of God in this world. And since you're a revelation of God in this world, so then I can't get upset at you. Right? And that increases peace in the world. So peace is rooted in Yesod. Now we're going to go a little bit deeper of what is Yesod and what does it have to do with Tu B'Av deeper, on a deeper sense. The Rizal already explained that this day is very great, but it's extremely hidden and not known so much. And this is the day of Tu B'Av is rooted in Yesod, like we've said. And the Arizal says that Tu B'Av works together with Tu B'Shvat, as we said. And the idea is that Tu B'Av, the 15th of Av, is the day of the internal aspect, and Tu B'Shvat is the day of the external aspect, meaning the revelation in actuality. And we have to understand, what does it mean, the pnimiyut of Yesod? What does it mean today that we're dealing with the inner aspect of Yesod? And what does it have to apply to us? How do we apply these ideas that we're going to be learning? Tu B'Av, like we said, is the root of creation. On this day, 40 days before the creation of the world, which is the 25th of Elul, is the aspect of 40 days that came before the creation of the embryo, the fetus. Shu shoresh li'tzirato. It's the root of that creation. The creation of the world was done for Israel, which is called Reshit, Bereshit. Rashi says, what is Reshit? Israel, the world was created for Israel. Why? So that we will receive light from Hashem, and to be a vehicle and a chariot to reveal this light into the world. So on this day, which is the root of the new year that is upon us, on the day that we are chosen every year again, anew, to be the children and the loved ones of Hashem, to be vehicles for His expression and vehicles of giving over the light of Hashem in the world. The whole entire world is revelation of Hashem's light. But Hashem concealed Himself very strongly with what's called tzimtzum, constriction, meaning a concealment of His light. He hid His light, and created the reality of what's called creations. Without concealing the light, we would not be able to receive Hashem's, without concealing Himself, we would not be able to receive the light of Hashem, the expression of Him. After there is a concealment, now the revelation is by way of Yesod. The idea of Yesod is to take these great lights that came, to make them into a concentrate, to flip them into something that is able to be comprehended. By way of this, they will be able to actually be revealed in actuality by way of Malchut. All the revelation of Hashem's light in the world is something that has to do with Yesod. In order, right, we said before in the Shekhinah classes that Malchut is everything that we engage with, right? But how do you get to Malchut? In order for there to be a Malchut, there has to be some kind of power that takes all of these lofty lights and brings it into one thing that can be given over in order to be expressed. The expression is a different level, but the constriction of all of those lights into one power that can now be expressed, that is what Yesod is. So that it can come into the world as a vessel. This is the reason that this day, Tu B'Av, is rooted in Yesod. Because it's 40 days before creation. And it's the root of creation. And the creation of the world was done with the Midav Yesod, because it took a whole bunch of lofty lights. And Yesod is what took all of these different lofty lights, expressions of Hashem, and made them into one thing that could now be revealed. Therefore, this day of 40 days before creation, before revelation already, now is the time that we're dealing with the idea of Yesod. This is the essence of this day, Tu B'Av, the light that's coming down. This is the inner aspects of these days, the meaning, which is the clear revelation that is revealed according to how we can comprehend it, each individual one of us. That internally, everything is just the infinite light of Hashem. This day is the root of creation. And by way of this, the root of revelation towards creations, the revelation of the light of the infinite, or in Sof, to the created world. This is the whole entire reality of the whole entire creation. That us as creations should be able to look deeper and see the light of the infinite. And this is done by way of the Midah of Yesod. The whole entire idea is to know that there's nothing besides Hashem. Nothing besides Hashem. But what's special about Yesod? That Yesod takes this thing, and you might think it's very lofty, right? It's like this light is above everything. It allows you to now to look at this lofty light of the light of Hashem, but to not be blown away by it. To be able to actually comprehend it. That's the job of Yesod. To make it in a way that it could be expressed to you individually. We each have our own personal Yesod, right? What is that job of our own personal Yesod? To take every light that's coming down to every single creation, but to bring it to me. To me Noach, to me Eliyahu, to whoever you are individually. Right? It's revealed to us according to how we can actually comprehend it and engage with it. Even though it's a light that has been constricted and compressed, so to say, for us to be able to grasp it, to comprehend it, it's still complete light though, when it's in the Yesod. Right? It's still not revealed, it's still complete light. It's not really revealed down below. The things that we express here, their pnimiyut is Yesod. Their inner aspect of actual expression, actual revelation, actual creation, the inner light of actual creation is Yesod. So it has this lofty light on one side. On the other hand, it's light that can be actually grasped by us, because that is what the light is. We see a physical vessel, but the light that we're experiencing, the beauty behind something, so to say, that is Yesod, right? By way of this, you go into the work of unifying heaven and earth, to see godliness in everything, in a very lofty and internal way, in the secret of the light of Yesod. Meaning to see how the light of Hashem is being revealed in every single aspect of my life. So on this day, there's a revelation of the internal connection between the Creator and the creation. To reveal that the creation is revealing the light, the lofty, very lofty, exalted light of the Creator at all times. Meaning not to only know that the creation is alive because Hashem wants it to be in existence. That's one thing to know it. That is, right? That's external. That's connecting the creation to Hashem externally. But to recognize that the whole entire creation is coming to reveal the light of Hashem. So then, therefore, the whole entire creation is this lofty, elevated thing. It's not some physical block of physicality, right? It's not some bunch of dirt and rocks. It's not so simple what this world is. This world is a lofty thing, which connects, if we think about it, back to Tu B'Shvat. What's Tu B'Shvat? The day of the Rosh Hashanah for the trees, right? Of the earth and everything. It's like, so here we are, we're talking about, but this is the inner aspect of it. It's not about the trees here. Here it's about the light that's inside the trees, right? It's about the inner aspect, the light of the creation. When we look at the external light of the light of Yesod, meaning that the light that's actually revealed, that's a very lofty level and a very important level. It strengthens the idea that this world doesn't exist by itself, because you can see, so to say, the spirit behind physical things. You see that there's a light of Hashem behind certain things. Everything does, but sometimes you can see it yourself, right? In a certain thing, a piece of wood, a beautiful piece of art, something like that. You can see that there's some godliness in this world, but it's still, so to say, a grasp of as if this world kind of has its own purpose. It's like, as its own. The world is the world, but it's nursing and pulling life force from Hashem. That's how you're kind of looking at it in that way. But when we get to the inner aspect of Yesod, then the light changes and completely gets flipped. Then we understand that this lofty idea, the whole entire purpose of the creation is to reveal godly light. Not to think that the light is in order to give life to the creation. Look on a higher level, that the whole entire creation, its goal is to be a vessel for the light of the Creator. In a way that you put God at the center, you put the Creator at the center. He is everything. It's not that this world exists and we receive light from Hashem in order for us to live. Hashem gives us life so that we can exist. No, we exist in order to reveal the light of Hashem. It's a different way. We put Hashem at the core. Why do we exist? In order to then. It's not that we exist and Hashem gives us light. No, we exist in order to reveal the light that Hashem is giving. Of course He gives us light. So this is the secret of the shidduch. This is the secret of the shidduch, of the match, of the matchmaking, of the unification. May everybody who's single out there and needs to get married, may they have this spiritual shidduch, B'ezrat Hashem. Whoever's trying to do business, may you have the right partners to do it with, B'ezrat Hashem. By way of this, now we have a match made between the Creator and the creation. To see that all of our reality is just from the light of Hashem. Everything is just to be a vessel to receive the light of Hashem in order to give it over on a higher and a higher level. So on this day, it's the day of Shidduchim. Like it says, it was on this day that there's a shidduch between every single Jew and Hashem. Besod, chibur, yesod, u'malchut. The connection of yesod and malchut. Because on this day, it's the internal aspect of the yesod that's being illuminated out. That's our complete connection with Hashem. On an internal aspect, meaning an internal recognition that the whole entire creation was created in order to only reveal the light of Hashem that is being constricted and coming and brought down at all times. And by way of this recognition, then we are able to connect to Hashem by way of anything that is permitted, of course. And so too, to stand through the test that we have in sanctity and holiness, in Kedusha. To be able to be successful in that fight, because we are connected. And to run away from any kind of tuma and lichluch, to run away from any kind of impurity and any kind of dirt, any kind of filth. Our job is to be this vehicle, this liot makom sheshayach le'emet hazot, to be a place that has this relationship, that has some kind of attachment to this truth, this internal truth, that everything here is just to reveal Hashem in the world. That's what we have to be. And then you're going to be able to be a place, a vehicle for the Shekhinah, the light of Hashem to be dwelling upon you, the light of Hashem's revelation to be upon you, and you start to give it off to the whole entire world. Why? Because you're connected to Hashem at the core, and you seek out to be taking pleasure only from Hashem. And you seek out to be connected only to things that are connected to Hashem. And anything that's not connected to holiness and sanctity and to Hashem, you want to run away from it naturally. You're disgusted from it. You can't be in a place like that because you're so connected to Hashem that you can't see yourself doing the things that go on in this world. And you can't see yourself interested in seeking out physical pleasures. Because you know the truth, that it's all just the light of Hashem. And if you do engage in anything physical, it's only for a loftier purpose, to reveal more light of Hashem. So on this day, we have to go to the shidduch with Hashem. We have to be in a shidduch. We have to be dating and going out and connecting to Hashem. That every single Jew needs to go in and make a decision. I'm deciding. Every single Jew needs to say this, man or woman. I'm like Hashem's wife right now. Like a woman is not something by herself. A married woman. She is her husband's support, her husband's backbone, her husband, right there, she's on his side, she's there for him at all times. She's not alone in the relationship. She is one with her husband, she's there all the time. V'nikret al shmo, she even carries his name, and she reveals his power and his ability. So too, we are not some low-level creation. Our whole entire reality is very lofty, is very important. ואנו חיים בתוך האור המרומם, and we're living within this very lofty light. וכל ענייננו הוא לגלותו שזה פנימיות היסוד. Our whole entire being, our whole entire purpose to reveal this inner light, which is the internal aspect of Yesod. So this leads to unity, which is the machol, the idea that they would go out in a circle together. How we still dance together, Jews, in a circle holding hands, that's called a machol. On this day, the girls went out and they danced in a circle, holding hands. In a circle, everybody's connected equally. Since on this day there's an illumination of the internal aspects of Yesod, because it's revealed that the whole entire purpose of the creation is only to reveal the light of the Creator. So therefore everybody is equal. Every creation is equal. We have all the same purpose, to reveal the Creator's light. Therefore, as now that the tribes were allowed to come together on this day, you can marry everyone. Every tribe can marry whoever they want. After they went individually, everybody to work to rectify their own individual rectification, now come together. To be happy with your portion. You have to be first happy with your portion, with what you need to do. Excuse me. Now, after everything is fixed, now we can connect, which is the secret of Keter, to show how everything is one. So, we're going deeper, guys. It's the day of Torah. Zat Hashem, we're pushing forward. Sana enecha, ta'amin v'tishaf. The girls would go out, Benot Yerushalayim, the girls of Jerusalem would go and they would say on this day, Bachur, sana enecha. Boy, lift up your eyes. How deep? Lift up your eyes. Kol Yehudi hu Bachur. Every Jew is a Bachur, is a boy. Ki hu me'a'am nivchar. Bachur, nivchar. Bachur in Hebrew is a boy, a lad. Nivchar is chosen. It's the same word. L'chol Yehudi Hashem yitbarach omer. To every Jew, Hashem says, Bacha bacharti liot li le'am segula. I chose you to be my auspicious nation, to be my special gem of a nation in the world. What do they say to the boy, the girls of Jerusalem? Lift your eyes up. Lift your eyes up. Meaning, aspire for the truth, to ascend, to do more. Have this passion, this burning desire to become something, to believe that you can actually do it. Don't say it's too lofty for me. Don't say that the service of Hashem and connecting to Hashem and learning Torah, keeping Shabbat, putting on tefillin, being tzanua, keeping kosher. Don't say all of these things are too lofty for me. They're not for me. If you're a Jew, they're for you. It's not true. Know that the light of Hashem is revealed in the secret of the Yesod. Meaning in a way that the light of Hashem is revealed to you always in a concentrated form that is fitting just for you. Therefore, everybody could be a revelation. Everybody could be a tool to reveal the light of Hashem. Everybody's fitting for it. Why? Because the light of Yesod takes everything and fits it to every single individual at any moment that they're in. The girls of Jerusalem out in circles in the vineyards. The kerem, or mezal Israel, the kerem, the vineyard, is a hint towards Israel. Hashem calls them karmu, v'kmo shekatuv, ki karama bayat tzfakot beit Israel. The kerem, the vineyard of Hashem, the Lord of Legions, is the house of Israel. Like the vineyard has a lot of grapes, but just together, all those grapes together is only called a vineyard. Right? All the grapes together is what makes it a vineyard. So too, every single Jew is a very important geffen, a very important vine in front of Hashem. Right? The girls of the ugly girls of Jerusalem, what would they say? Take us for the sake of heaven. Right? And you're going to be Ta'atrunu b'zerubim, and surround us with gold. זה רומז שגם מי שמרגיש את עצמו בבחינת מכוערות, means someone who feels himself, someone who still feels himself. That's the aspect of being ugly. Al ityaesh, don't have despair. You feel yourself still too much. Don't think that it's too hard for you. You're in the aspect of being the ugly girls of Jerusalem, so to say. Because you feel yourself. That's an aspect, that's an ugly aspect, to be all about yourself. Don't think you're stuck though. Run after the desire of wanting to connect to Hashem, to having this burning passion to want to connect to Hashem. Right? And this yearning, this aspiration, that is bina, and bina is gold. So what would the ugly girl say? What would the ugly girl say? Do it for the sake of heaven. Do it for the sake of heaven, and surround us with gold. Meaning, what is the deeper secret here? Ugly people, the ugly girls, the ugly people, what is that? It's the people that they're still looking at themselves, that they're still all about themselves. What do they say? Do it for the sake of heaven, and then surround us with gold. Meaning, do it for the sake of heaven. Do it just to connect to Hashem. Stop being about yourself. And how are you going to do that? By way of surrounding it with gold, by way of decorating with gold. What is gold? Gold is ishtokikut. Gold is yearning and wanting and longing to be connected to Hashem in a kosher way. That is bina, which is gold, also is rooted in bina. So that's the secret of what they were saying. The ugly girls would say, do it for the sake of heaven and surround us with gold. That God willing, that just because you're ugly, meaning just because you think about yourself all the time, don't think that you can't do something holy, that you can't aspire to more lofty levels. On this day we're able to receive aspirations and to receive goals, that we want to be better, and to recognize this truth, that every single Jew is important and precious in the eyes of Hashem. It's hinted to by way that on this day, it was on this day that the guards were nullified. Yerovam ben Navad, who set up guards preventing the nation of Israel to coming to Judah to connect to Hashem, to be connected to Hashem. It was on this day that they nullified those guards. That's the hint here. Aliyah l'regel, what was it, the ascension? What was it, the pilgrimage 3 times a year? 3 times a year they would come for Passover, for Sukkot, for Shavuot. They would come to Jerusalem. What was going on there? It was the revelation that Hashem chose every single one of us. Like it was written, Yira'eh kol zchura et pnei Adon Havaya Elohei Yisrael. Every single one of you will come in front to see the face of Hashem, the God of Israel. That's what the Aliyah l'regel was, right? We all had to come up to ascend to Jerusalem 3 times a year. Why? Because each individual one of us was coming to meet with Hashem. And each individual Jew had this special ma'ala, this importance by Hashem. Every single person came, so to say, representing himself, stood in front of Hashem by himself. And Hashem revealed himself to him, every single one of them according to their level. Yeravam, this wicked king, he put guards that prevented people from coming up to Jerusalem. And they said to people, who are you that you should go up to Jerusalem? You think you're fitting to go up to the level of serving Hashem? And these different things that the Yetzer Hara tells us all day long, right? Who do you think you are to do these lofty things? Who do you think you are to serve Hashem like this? On this day, on Tu B'Av, those guards that were preventing us from ascending to Jerusalem to connect to Hashem, everyone according to their own level, to have aspirations to ascend on the mountain of Hashem, to connect to Hashem on your own level, these guards were nullified. And whoever wanted to lift their heart up to Hashem and to connect to Hashem was able to go into internal work, la'alot l'regel, to ascend to Jerusalem, to the house of choice, the place with the biggest revelation, the biggest dwelling of the Shekhinah in the world. To also merit to ascend, that you yourself become like the temple, that you yourself become a place of revelation of Hashem. This was the day that you were allowed to do that. This was the day that it became available for every single Jew to understand that by way of the light of Yesod, the light of Hashem is being brought down, concentrated for me specifically, me. The light is brought down for me. And I have the ability to ascend and to take part in these lofty works and be connected to Hashem and to learn Torah and to pray to Hashem and to have conversations with Hashem and to be good to other people and to do mitzvot and to give tzedakah and to put on tefillin and everything with a deep connection to Hashem in order to reveal more of His light in this world. So how do we merit to be this vehicle? By way of the sanctity. This is a long work that involves our whole entire life. But the in general idea is to be Jewish. Alright? If you're not Jewish, you don't have to be Jewish. But you could do from learning of the 7 Noachide laws. But if you're a Jew, be a Jew. Ish shel Hashem yidbarach. Be a person of Hashem. Ish shemigalet ha'emet v'chai ota. Person who talks about the truth, lives the truth, reveals the truth. Umechubar ito b'chol nishmato. And you're connected to Hashem with your whole entire soul. And the more you work on this, the more you put effort in this, the more you pray for this, and you put importance in this work, so too, slowly but surely, you will merit to become more like this. For sure, every single Jew wants to merit to be a vehicle to reveal Hashem in this world. To be a vehicle for Kudsha Brichu and Shchinte, for the transcendent light and the revealed light. This is the revelation of today, of Tu B'Av. The first point that we need is לרצות ולשאוף באמת, to want it and to really aspire with truth. And this is the special internal aspect of this day. To take a decision, a brand new decision. אני רוצה להיות מרכבה לשכינה. I want to be a vehicle for the revelation of Hashem in this world. Meaning to reveal that He is the internal aspect of everything in this world. And that is our life. There's nothing else besides that. What are the individual finer details of this work? First things first, we have to go into thoughts and we have to go into the work of the heart, of the emotions and feeling this by way of contemplating and praying and doing unifications as well, to get used to living this truth within the different aspects of our life, spiritually and physically, when it comes to our spirituality, to look in all of our work that we're doing, in our prayers, in our Torah learning, in our mitzvah, to want the light of Hashem and to cling to it. From a recognition that it's only the light of Hashem, that is the only true thing. V'rak hu atov, He is the only true good thing. In our prayers, in our learning, in our mitzvah, and everything, we're seeking out to cling to Hashem. We're seeking out to more, not for me. I don't do a mitzvah for me. I don't go to pray so that I have my 20 minutes of meditation or whatever it is. It's not about that. I'm seeking out to connect to Hashem. And when it comes to the physical, mundane aspects, so to say, not mundane, but physical aspects of our life, to see in any physical thing that I'm allowed to engage in, to see the godly light inside of it. Don't take some pleasure as something by itself. To take everything you experience and you find pleasurable and to connect it back to the Creator, so that pleasure comes together paired with thoughts of the Creator. Hashem's light is the internal aspect of everything. Any good and pleasure that comes is just from Hashem. The work is to remember this in the hard times. Then we have the sumira, to go away from the bad. The sumira, the bad thing, the bad side of all of this talk is to recognize that in things that are forbidden, so to say pig, relationships with people that you're not allowed to be, relationships that you're not allowed to have, even if you're allowed to be with a person, whatever it might be, to go away from them, to move, to find, to know that there's no true goodness in them, to run away from these things, because they're vanity, they're nonsense, they have nothing in them. And so too on the things that are permitted to you, to separate yourself from them as much as you can. As much as you can, to sanctify the things that you are allowed to engage with, to limit them as much as you can. Even though I meant to reveal that it's all Hashem in every single aspect of my life, meaning to reveal, to reveal and to clarify that even in the physicality there is godly light, First things first, though, you have to kind of separate yourself from the ideas of the aspects of this world. You have to completely distract your mind from lust and from people. Only after clinging to Hashem on that level, you can go down into the world and to take pleasure in something in a holy, sanctified way. To connect it to its root. This is the light that's coming down on this day of Tu B'Av. And then we have a little bit more and we're done. A little bit more, but we're pushing. We have to. For the Torah. B'ezrat Hashem, some stretches. Some clicks. And let's go. We're going up to Jerusalem right now. Yiras Shalem. It's known as Jerusalem, right? Jerusalem is Benot Yerushalayim Yotzot V'cholot B'Kramim. The girls of Jerusalem would go out in circles and into the vineyards, right? Yerushalayim Hiyotiot Yiras Shalem. The Jerusalem is the letters Yiras Shalem. Whole, awe. Dainu mitzad echad ira. On one side, awe, ira, fear of Hashem, awe of Hashem, respect of Hashem. She'inyan gvura be'asmo. This idea of gvura, of might, of the left side. Shesham koach ha'peula v'asiyah shel adam. There is the action and the power and the ability of a man to go out and to do actions in the world. Umitzad shani shalem. Milashon shleimut. On the other side, it's shalem, it's whole, from the side of completion, of wholesomeness. She'inyan ha'chesed v'yamin v'aminucha, which is the right side of love, of right, of tranquility, of rest. To understand that Hashem does everything. We need on one side, on one side we look at the whole side, that Hashem does everything. And take immense pleasure that you're connected to Hashem and be happy with Hashem. On the other side, you have to have the ira to follow the law, the rules of the Torah, to go out, to act, and to do in this world. Therefore, the girl said, whoever doesn't have beauty, right? Whoever doesn't have beauty, whoever doesn't have Torah and mitzvot, and whoever doesn't feel that they're fitting to the merit of forefathers, meaning mishpacha, the family, right, the lineage, like we talked about, ya'avod l'shem shamayim. They should do it for the sake of shamayim, the sake of heaven. From the recognition that Hashem does everything. And you don't have to do anything. This is what it means, surround us and crown us with golds. Shem Torah mitzvot, which is the Torah and the mitzvot, Torah and good deeds. Every Jew is filled with mitzvot. If you feel that you don't have beauty in you, you feel that you're not successful, then you have this aspect of, for the sake of heaven. I'm not seeking out perfection, I'm not seeking out success. Rather from an internal aspect of a very internal point inside of me that says, I want to do it for the sake of my Father in heaven. On this day, we're seeking out the internal aspect. This is the day of the root of all of creation. And Hashem is waiting for the truth, meaning for that internal truth. It's not enough to be doing external actions and to be being successful. We need the internal truth. That we should care from our shidduch, the shidduch of Nishmot Yisraelim Hashem Yitbarach, the shidduch between the unification, the marriage between the souls of Israel and Hashem, the Creator. We have to seek out the truth. We have to yearn after the light, the truth of the Torah, and the more we yearn for it, specifically that you recognize that you're ugly in your actions, right? That you're not perfect, that you're lacking. We all are. And you're begging and you're asking and you're begging to receive gold. a broken heart that's calling out to Hashem, Hashem will never disgrace that person. Hashem will never look down on that person. So if when you recognize that you're not perfect, and you ask Hashem, please fill me up with gold, give me more Torah and mitzvot. I am ugly. I'm trying to do it for the sake of heaven, just please surround me with gold. Give me opportunities to Torah and mitzvot, because I am far from you. Hashem will never ever leave you abandoned in that situation. And this is what it means. Take your portion for the sake of heaven. This is the secret of David. In David it says that he made himself black he darkened himself over the words of Torah. He didn't, it wasn't enough to him to just be learning Torah externally. To seek out Hashem in every single aspect of my life. To connect to Hashem in any fine detail in the learning of Torah. And to see with true eyes, the vanity of this world is nonsense, it's empty, it's a lie. The woman who praises Hashem, the woman who has fear of Hashem, to see Hashem, the woman who sees Hashem, the one who's seeking out to connect to Hashem truthfully, only she will be praised. By way of Torah you can merit to the true unification. But this is only revealed to whoever is really looking in the Torah, whoever really cares about finding this true point. This is the only thing that he's seeking out. The revelation of Hashem and the revelation of the Shekhinah in truth. Right? It's without this different nonsense and this different colors and no, the true thing, the light of Hashem. So we need to learn and more how to get into the inner aspects, how to really connect to the deeper aspects of Hashem, to seek out the truth. Somech Hashem lechol hanoflim. I know you love Ashrei, so here's one of a secret from Ashrei. Somech Hashem lechol hanofilim. Hashem brings close all of those who are falling. On this day, the dead of Beitar were given to be buried in the ground. What's the idea of burial? Today also may this be for Hilul Nishmat Rav Aaron ben Avraham Shmuel Alevi, Aaron Shmuel Alevi. That today is 30 days of his passing. Zat Hashem, may this be for Hilul Nishmato. What is the idea of burial? The idea of burial inside the earth is being included into the Shekhinah, which is called Afar. The Shekhinah is called dust. By way of this, they made the blessing, he who is good and does good. Tov, who Gematria, Shem, Aleph K, Vav K. Tov, 17, is the Gematria of this name of Hashem, which is Aleph K, Vav K. Shusoda Dat, which is the secret of Dat, consciousness. Ki kama she'adam nichnas le'emunah le'shechina. As much as a person goes into emunah, into the Shekhinah, kachu mekabel tov v'dat, so too he receives good and dat. Beitar is the letters brit. To show that even someone who's fallen, God forbid, therefore then by way of Tu B'Av, he's able to rectify everything. By way of the secret of including himself inside the Shekhinah, which is the secret of burial. And to not be rotten and to be rotten and stinking, which is the hold of the klipa. Last little section. This day today is the preparation, the pnimiut for what's going to be on the high holidays of Elul and Tishrei. Ashva Yom Kippurim, right? It says there were no better days for Israel than the 15th of Av and Yom Kippur. So what's this comparison between this day that's completely hidden and concealed and we don't even know so much about, right? And the pnimiut of it to Yom Kippur, which is for sure one of the holiest days. Chazal manu et Yom Tu B'Av b'yachad im Yom Kippur. Chazal, the rabbi, saw it fitting that these 2 days should be paired. Right? They mentioned Tu B'Av before Yom Kippur. ולא היו ימים טובים לישראל כ-15 באב ויום הכיפורים. Right? There weren't greater days for Israel, like the 15th of Av came first, and Yom Kippur. Meaning in the sentence, you see that the Chazal, who were very precise with their words, put Tu B'Av first. כי יום הזה שהוא 40 יום קודם הבריאה, שהוא שורש הנעלם והפנימי של הימים הנוראים, שהם ימי בריאת העולם מחדש. Today is the root of the creation of the world. The days, the high holidays are part of the creation of the world. They are, right? They are the revelation. That is the new world that's being created right now. In the New Year's, the world is being renewed, right? Now we're at the source. We're at the root of, today is the root of the new world that is going to be created in 40 days, 45 days. In 40 days and 45 days. So tshuva, לכן ביום הזה צריך להתחיל את עבודת התשובה ולשוב אל השם יתברך. Today we have to start the work of tshuva and starting to return to Hashem, like we do in Elul. But it starts now. להיכנס מחדש לעבודה פנימית. To go again into internal connections to Hashem, to the internal aspect of serving Hashem. לעבודה שהתקשרות, to work of connection and attachment to Hashem, which is the secret of Yesod, meaning to go into an internal approach. It's not about just doing mitzvot. It's not about just learning Torah. It's not about just showing up to pray. Seeking out Hashem in all of those things. Even though externally we still don't see anything. It's like a regular day, Tu B'Av. You don't see anything that's special today. Why? Because we have to go into the internal aspect. What's the internal aspect? That when I come to serve Hashem, I look for the internal aspect, even if it's still concealed and it's not revealed. Because today is the internal aspect of the new year that's coming upon us. Today is the root of all Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Tishrei, Slichot, and everything. And it's the hidden root of the whole entire year that's coming upon us. If from today on we can make a decision to serve Hashem and to be the people of the revelation that reveal the Shekhinah in the world, the loyal ones of Hashem, His lovers, that seek out His revelation, and we just live and have vitality from that closeness to Hashem, this is the proper root, the proper beginning to get to the holy days of the high holidays. And there where we're crowning Hashem and revealing Hashem even externally, to do that properly, maybe we should already start from the time of the internal revelation. So today also is Shidduch, like David HaMelech said to his son, Da et Elokei Avicha, know the God of your father. Right? David told his son Shlomo, King David told King Solomon, his son, know the God of your father. Da hu inyan shel hargasha, knowing is an idea of an aspect of emotion. To feel the richness and the wealth and the beauty of the Shekhinah and the life with Hashem. The internal aspect of living in a spiritual life connected to Hashem. The shuv b'tshuva, to return in tshuva, to return to connection with Hashem, which is this aspect of Yesod, to live a life connected to Him. We can't agree to be without the Shekhinah. We have to be always connected, l'chatan v'lakalat, to be connected to the bride and the groom. To not lose consciousness of them for any moment. And from the Torah, the Holy Torah as well, God forbid. This was the high level, what was the special thing of David and the forefathers? That they didn't lose consciousness of one moment of the Shekhinah. This is the proper preparation for all of the holy days that are coming upon us for peace. Elul in the month of Tishrei, to request holy gold, to seek out the point of truth, and to get out of the external aspects of life. And this day, that's why it's a special day. It's a very big day, but it's a special day only for the people that are seeking out the internal aspect of connecting to Hashem. If you're seeking out spirituality, then this day is important for you. So what is the, how do we actually connect? That's it, and with this we're done. This is the work on this day. L'shuv b'tshuva, to return in tshuva, to return to Hashem, to return to l'chadesh et ha'melucha, to renew the kingship, l'kanes michadash la'avodat ha'pnimiyot, to go return into the internal aspects of the work, which is the aspect and all the work that we have to do with the Shekhinah, to go stronger into them with more passion, more desire, more of a will to do it. Whether we're talking about speaking to Hashem, meaning what would the girls say? What would they say? The girls of Jerusalem when they would go to the village, to the vineyards. What would they say? Meaning what would they say? That's us talking to Hashem. Speaking with our mouths. Talk to Hashem about everything you're going through. Everything that's going on in your heart. Bring it out to Him. Talk to Him. The things that are bothering you. The things that you're happy about. All your emotions. All of your goals. All of your aspirations. Anything that you're going through. Like a son who's spilling his heart out in front of his father. And the speech is the vehicle and the vessel of the Malchut to attach and to connect to Hashem. Your mouth is Malchut and attachment is Yesod. When you speak to Hashem, you're attaching, you're using Malchut, you're making the Shekhinah, you're connecting them together. So to strengthen our thoughts about the holy names of Hashem, everyone according to where you're at, meaning to cling to Hashem by way of thinking of His holy names internally, at least to think about Yud Kei Vav Kei, and not to get despaired by the work. And don't lie to yourself and fool yourself that you're not fitting to do this. Every single Jew is fitting to do this work. Everything depends on how much you're clinging to Hashem and how consistent you are with your connection to Hashem. On this day it begins. Therefore, every single person needs to take upon himself to connect to Hashem in a stronger way, in a deeper way, speaking from the heart to Him, thinking about Him, and for sure, the main thing is to increase Torah learning. Lilmod arbe, to learn a lot, and it's not stam that such a lofty internal time comes during Ben Azmanim, when people get soft with their Torah learning. It's not for nothing that this day, that it's all about increasing your Torah learning and increasing your connection with Hashem, comes in a time that people are usually not learning, because their external schedules gave them an exemption from learning. Learn from a place of connecting on your level with clinging to Hashem, the giver of the Torah. Understanding that every single word in the Holy Torah is the word of Hashem. Every single word, there's godly light that's resting there. And like they said on this day, Mikan ve'elach yasif. From here on, you add. Losif belimud Torah. Increase your Torah learning, specifically at night when it's hard. Shenira sheyesh zman koshi v'katnut. When it seems like there's a time of hardship and constrictedness, there you increase your Torah. And there you increase your speaking to Hashem. And then you're going to see the true life and the true light. May we all be blessed. B'ezat Hashem, everyone who's watching from across the world. Baruch Hashem, may we all be blessed to connect to Hashem in the most internal way possible, that when we engage with something that's permissible, we do it with the right mindset in order to connect to Hashem. When we learn Torah and we do spiritual things, then we do it with the right mindset, which is to seek out the light of Hashem and not to pray to Hashem because I need something, but to pray to Hashem because I want to be connected to Hashem. And if I'm connected to Hashem, then I don't need anything, and I have everything I need. And I run away from jealousy, and I run away from competition, and I increase peace in the world. And I increase my attachment to Hashem in any given moment. These are the secrets that our rabbis gave over for this holy, lofty day of Tu B'Av. This is the amazing day that the rabbis put as the number one best days that the nation of Israel had in history, together with Yom Kippur. And right now, we are preparing for everything we're going to be going through in a month and a half, in 40 and 45 days, with Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and everything that's coming up. So B'ezat Hashem, may we all be blessed to come into this work internally, and to be prepared to see Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mirav Amenu, Amen v'Amen.